dark, something's lurking at the edge of the park. People be warned, people beware. There's a storm on the rise and it's covered in hair. Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to disembowel. Claws like a hook, eyes like coal, feet so big they're gonna crush your soul. They call him Sasquatch. Out in the night when nobody can see.
G'day and welcome. This is Yowie Central. Welcome to the show. You're listening to 94.9 Main FM and I'm Sarah. Yowie Central is where you'll hear the latest on Yowie research in Australia, and you get to explore the fascinating realm of Bigfoot, Sasquatch and cryptozoology from here and around the world. And because there's all sorts of strange and mysterious phenomena going on out there, we also delve into anything and everything paranormal, supernatural, or just plain weird as. Have you ever noticed that some people see all sorts of paranormal phenomena throughout their lives? This week's guest is one of those people. If you watch Australian Yowie Research's YouTube channel, you will have heard her account of two frightening Yowie sightings up near Blackbutt in Queensland. Today, she's on Yowie Central to share with us some of the other strange beings that she has seen. And trust me, we're talking high strangeness with a Goatman, an Aboriginal spirit and a black dog that Wendy ended up driving through. Yes, through. Mind blown. I'm still working out how to use my new software, Adobe Audition. I'm definitely no sound engineer, and there will be a few hitches until I get the hang of it. So this week's hitch is that my audio levels for this interview were a little high, so it's not perfect, but it's okay. And as annoying as that is to me, I'm trying not to be too hard on myself, what with all the other crappy stuff going on in the world. So folks, here's Wendy.
When I was out at Cherbourg, the Aboriginal community that we have, I was doing, I've done a lot of work out there for different things. So I've been probation and parole officer, sexual abuse counsellor for the children, and I also worked with another counselling section, but they also did night patrol. So on the community, we would drive around just making sure the kids are right and everything's okay. So we would, if it was winter, we'd take around soup and bread rolls and things like that, damper actually. And we would patrol the streets from 9 o'clock till about 3 o'clock in the morning. And Cherbourg I love Cherbourg, it's my home in that sense. But it's extremely spiritual. There's stuff that goes on there all the time. Within the Aboriginal community, we're just used to spiritual stuff where my white side of the family, don't acknowledge it and sometimes don't even experience it. It's almost like it's switched off or they can't see it, or I'm not sure. So I was driving around this night by myself because the other staff members couldn't make it this time. And I was coming around the bend that a little road goes off to their cemetery. And you can see the cemetery. It's not that far away. And there's a little tiny roundabout. And as I was coming around the roundabout, my lights obviously are turning as I'm turning around the roundabout. And probably about 20 metres from me, trotting across in front of my lights, was this half goat, half man looking thing.
Yeah, right.
And I'd heard about it, but never seen it, and it literally was trotting on 2 feet or hooves and was just turned and looked at me, but I'm like still moving because I'm going around the roundabout. And yeah, I got out of there pretty quick, but I saw it for quite a long period of time. And it's been known around Cherbourg, they call it the devil, obviously, because it's supposed to have gone down in gullies and things like that, and people who've been gambling have seen it, and it had something to do with gambling. I can't really remember the full story, but I saw this thing very clearly. It was solid. There was no ghosty thing to it. It was solid.
What did it look like?
Well, the top looked like the face looked real, like a man, but distorted and still like hairy and creepy looking with these horns going down the chest, like two arms. Going down the chest was not so hairy, and then started to get hairy from like waist, I guess, down to full goat looking bottom half, except the knees were backwards, not going how our knees go, but going the opposite way. And it was on 2 feet and trotting like a horse would trot, you know? That sort of plop, 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 plop sort of trot. Yeah. Dark hair. I'm trying to give you as much detail as I can.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Like I said, back was hairy. The head was like a man but distorted. Like, you know, you see these sort of horror movies are very similar to what they picture in those sort of movies when people, like, put a picture of the devil looking scary and all that. Not red and that sort of stuff. More like human featured but mixed with a goat. And the height would have been, I reckon, easy my height, so I'm about 5'7". So it wasn't like little. It could have even been bigger. I'm in a car van, so I've had to like step into the van, up into it, and yeah, ears, horns.
Were the ears like normal human shaped ears?
Yes, they were human ears, but then you had the horns.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And the horns were, the way I would explain it is like smaller goat horns, not big goat horns, not like ram's horns or anything like that, but like, say, 3 inches.
And curly or just...
no, just straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pointy at the end.
Yeah. You know how on a small goat, a kid, they have little horns that suit the height of the head.
Yeah, little nubby things.
Yeah, so sort of like that. If you increase the size of the head, you'd increase the horn. Yeah, there, but not massive horns.
Okay, and they were right on the top of the head, but the ears were placed where
like
humans... Right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And then the horns coming from the forehead.
Right, and going kind of straight up. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. And did you get a feeling for like the colour of the skin? Did you get a chance to see the colour?
It was dark. It wasn't like because I'm as white as you can get, and my family can get as dark as you can get. I would say like mid-range skin colour. It was brown, but it wasn't black.
And did it have some hair on the face, or did that start on the chest?
There was still facial hair, like very much like a man, you know, beard type thing, facial, like coming from in front of the ears, hair coming down, nothing on the forehead. The back of the head was like short hair, probably 2 inches long, like if that. And then sort of, to be honest, I wouldn't even call it hair. It was more like fur, because it wasn't, you know how hair's thin and can wave and move? It was more like fur, where it was dense and thick, more like a goat.
Yeah, right. And curly or straight?
straight.
Straight hair, okay. And so,
But
yeah.
it did get curlier as it went down to thigh area. I remember clearly that being like curlier.
The chest and the shoulder area, did that give you a feeling of a being that was muscular or
Yes.
skinny? Muscular.
No, muscular. And not extremely muscular, like just a very fit male that hasn't, been working out but is naturally fit.
Mm-hmm. How long were the arms? Were they sort of in proportion to maybe what a human being's arms would be?
Yeah, I would say that definitely.
And did you notice any hands?
Yes.
Look.
Arms and hands were normal.
Yep.
Did have like slight amounts of hair on them. Like, I'm laughing because I saw a picture of Joe Biden getting his injection and his arms were really hairy. Right. It was like that. Right. You know how you get some men that have really hairy arms?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Okay. And did you, we're talking, you were looking at this being in your headlights, right, because it was nighttime?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you...
It would have been at about 2:00 in the morning.
Okay. And it was probably then too hard to notice any nails or claws.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything like that because I was literally going, what the heck am I looking at? And are you really seeing that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And with the legs, so you said, so it had kind of starts getting hairier, and did it have muscular looking thighs?
Really thick, muscular legs.
And then backwards facing knees.
Yes. The knees, I can't explain it. I've tried to even draw it and I haven't been able to give it justice. I didn't get how it was walking in that sense because we naturally go with our knees forward. But this was almost like it was almost like bouncing on its hooves. I can't explain it except that it was like I said, it was trotting. You know how you see some athletes with prosthetic legs and then they've got those legs that actually have some bounce to it?
Yes.
That sort of thing.
And the feet, did you notice like hooves rather than feet? They were hooves.
Yeah.
And was your window open? Like, could you hear it clopping on the road, or was it a dirt road?
It was actually on the field.
Right.
Because Queensland's very droughty, so everything was dead grass.
Yeah.
And the grass wasn't very long where I saw it. I didn't hear any noise. I did have the windows down because we were always talking to people, so the windows were mostly down unless it was winter and we're freezing. Yeah, I didn't hear the noise, but I always had music on, so I, wouldn't have heard it anyhow.
Yeah.
Especially while I was by myself, play the music.
Yeah. And so did this creature, when you saw it, it looked at you? Did it look you in the eyes, in the face?
Yeah, it looked straight at me.
Was there any expression on the face?
It was extremely menacing. When it looked at me, I then became fearful. It was like very frightening. It was extremely menacing. I can't even explain it. It was just like pure fear comes over you, and yeah, it wasn't good.
Did it have an expression on the face? Was it sort of frowning or snarling or?
Yeah, like that sort of, yeah, like I wouldn't want to say it's snarling because obviously I wasn't hearing any noise, but like I'm going to muck you up if I can.
Right.
That type of look, yeah.
Yeah. And did you see the face move at all? So did the expression change while you were looking at it?
Yeah, it changed, but not to a point where I could say it actually did something in particular, but the fact that it was like a human, if they looked at you and was going to cause you grief and harm, where, you know, slight changes of the face would show up, that sort of thing. But nothing I could say, well, I saw its eyes squint and that sort of stuff, because it was when it looked towards me, it was already had that sort of look on its face.
So it was walking along the side of the road when you went around this roundabout. Did you get a feeling that it was, you know, it had a destination in mind, or it was just roaming around?
Yeah, it was roaming, and it was like the cemetery is down behind where I saw it. It was heading like up the side of Cherbourg. So the side of Cherbourg where the cemetery is, there's no houses around there. It's out further. And I was at the end where some of the end houses are on the street. As I came around the roundabout, it basically was heading up towards the old road that goes out of Cherbourg into the bush. That road isn't used by everybody. Like, locals use it and other things, but it's not generally used. So it would look like it was heading up towards that way.
And you mentioned that other people in the community had seen this creature or seen something similar?
Yeah. I always heard stories from when I was younger about the devil turning up there. And I wish I remember. I should have asked Auntie before I spoke to you, but I remember some story about gambling and this thing showing up, or whether someone gambled with it or something. And yeah, there was always talk about this thing, and like I just accepted it because, you know, everything they've ever told me about has happened. So I just accepted it. Never ever thought I'd see it, because like I heard about that as a kid, and then here I am, you know, in my 40s seeing it.
Yeah, right.
A lot of my family and some other community members used to talk about how much I'd see. They go, yeah, she can see things, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I personally don't think that, but I must, because I see more things than other people do. Another time where I saw something at Cherbourg, I reported it to an elder, and another elder had seen the same thing leave where I had seen it at the same time going down to the river. So it sort of, you know, backed up my story. And usually whenever I'd say something, someone else had seen it. So, yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. Really interesting. I'd love to hear about, I'd love to hear if what other people, particularly the elders, have to say about it. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Problem is kids these days aren't listening to the elders, sadly. There's some that do, but not enough. And their stories and things like that are like crazy how true they are, where, you know, people these days are going, oh, that's nonsense, that couldn't happen. But sure enough, they happen.
Well, there's lots of strange things out there. We know that, don't we, Wendy? Yeah. You've seen a few of them.
And I keep looking for the old fellas when I go up the range. I'm still looking for Bigfoot. But I would love to get a dash cam on my car and look back at things sometimes, because it's just strange. I look for it all the time, and the same with Junjity too, you know. It's just something I'm always on the look for.
You need dash cam.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've got one, and my husband hasn't put it in the car. But the amount of times that I wish I had dash cam, because I've seen so many things. If I had the dash cam, I would have been laughing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so weird. See, up around Cherbourg too, there's the whole Junjity thing too. Like when I worked at the rehab there as counsellor, and I was managing there for a while, I had to live in at the manager's area. So I'd, close down the rehab at night, make sure everything's right, blah, blah, blah. a friend who was helping close everything down, when I got up in the morning, he said, come and have a look at this. And we went out to the table where they'd go out to have their smokes and things like that. I don't think they're allowed to smoke these days in the rehab, but back then they could. There were these little footprints everywhere, all over the table. And, like, no kids can get in there because there's, like, more than 6 foot high fences. Uh-huh. And I took a photo of it, but this is like, oh, gosh, 12 years ago on a really crappy phone camera, and I don't even know where that is now, but I took a photo of it and it was just like, this is impossible.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, there's like Cherbourg is amazing for spiritual stuff. Like, so much goes on out there.
Oh, I'd love to talk to anyone from the community who wants to share some of the stories. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. Well, I'll check to see who's good about it, because some of them are like, yeah, no, we don't talk about that. Oh, where I'm like, yeah, I talk about everything. So I'll get in trouble, but I'm right. I own it.
Just finish off Goatman. Did he, when you went around the roundabout and kept driving and he continued on his way, did he?
Yeah, because I'm talking about a roundabout that's like so little, because the community's not big, and it's this little roundabout that would be not much bigger than a big barbecue round table, the middle. Yeah. So it's only a small roundabout. I've got it in my sight. Now I'm going slowly because I can't believe what I'm seeing, and you go slowly anyhow because it's small community, small roads, small bends. So I'm going slow, just looking at this thing. And, of course, I'm in the driver's seat and it's on my left-hand side. And so I'm taking the lights around slowly. And when it's then registered what I've seen, I took off. I took off up one of the streets and found someone to talk to about it. So I really don't know where it went. All I know, it was heading up towards the back road that went out of Cherbourg.
Right. And when did that happen?
Gosh, my dad passed away about 10 years ago. So I would say 11 years ago, because it was just before he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. It's so awful when that happens, isn't it?
It does. My dad was so cool. I loved him. Such a good dad too.
Rest in peace, Dad.
Yeah, bless him. He'll be upstairs. He was a minister, so he'll be upstairs singing with the angels. He'll be happy.
Good.
It was hot, so it was between, I'm guessing, October and December.
You're listening to Yowie Central on the best little station in the nation, 94.9 Main FM. Did you have any other stories of stuff that's going on out there in Cherbourg?
Well, again, I was at the rehab living in, and the manager's quarters had a double bed, like a little area for a TV and chair, and then an ensuite, and then it went into the office. So I again had closed down for the night. I was sitting on the end of the double bed, and at that time I was still studying counselling as well. So I was doing some assignments sitting at the end of the double bed and just writing on a little, fold-up table thing. And I lifted my head and looked into the bathroom, and here was this full-blood painted man, dressed in complete, proper outfit, painted up, in lap on and so on. And he's looking straight into my eye. I freaked out I'm, when you're scared but you're just too scared to do anything. It was like that. I just was staring straight into his eyes, and he then crouched down, and when I say crouched down, he bent his knees and he wiped his hands from, let me think, from right to left and then back to right, like just waved across him, like hands straight out, not up, straight out.
Palms down.
I'm trying to explain it because you can't see me. If you put your palms down, like say there's something in front of you like a table and you put your palms onto the table.
Yep.
Like your hands are like that. Remove the table,
Yep.
Bend the knees and wipe your hands across your body from right to left to right. He did that, stood back up, turned to the right and walked off, like that there was some door there or something. And I'm just like still sitting there like completely in shock. After a little while, it seemed like ages, but I'm sure it wasn't that long. It was probably a minute or so. I got up and went to have a look at the bathroom. Well, there's a wall there. There's no door. So I was like, oh, my gosh, you know. Now, I had told then an elder that I had seen this, and that's when they reported to me that another elder had seen this painted man leave from near the rehab boundaries and walk across the road and go down the gully down to the river. And they had reported that before I had reported anything, that they had seen this. And so that's when a lot of people started talking about me seeing things because it matched up.
Yeah. What did the elders think that this man, this being, this vision, this spirit, what did they think he was or who he was?
Someone had said that he was trying to tell me a message, and that he'd then gone down to the river, that maybe there was something down there that he was trying to explain. Warrabinda is another community, and they had come down for football to play against Sherbrooke, and some people were saying it had something to do with them coming down because I guess different tribal things, groups and stuff like that, not always in the old days, because we're talking this old fella. When I say old fella, he wasn't really that old. I would say that he was probably late 30s, 40 looking. His hair was a bit on the longer side, but not too much, sort of just above the shoulder. Yeah, some people were saying that he wasn't happy that other tribal people were coming onto his land. But to be honest, I really don't know, and there were different, people with different opinions. But, to me, my personal opinion was whether he was warning me something or trying to show me something, that's what the feeling was like. He wasn't menacing at all. He was not there to frighten me, but he did.
I don't blame you. So he had sort of shoulder-length hair, curly-ish.
Yes,
yeah,
wavy
hair.
Yep.
Black. Was there any grey in it?
No. But see, he's painted, so you always have your ochre and stuff in your hair.
Yes.
So that so I couldn't tell you with that because there's paint in the hair.
So fully painted means his hair was painted as well?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And painted...
And I mean, not completely painted, but yes, through the hair, yeah. Absolute tribal markings on. He even had the tribal scarring on his chest.
Right. And the paint the paint was an ochre colour, not white or any other colour?
It was more on the white side.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Like that real clay
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And did he have any expression on his face?
I'm trying to put it into words. I would just say that he was there to tell me something without moving his, like, there wasn't much to his features moving.
Could you see the whites of his eyes?
Yes. And he was solid as, like, he was so real. There was no mystical thing about him. He was straight up, looked like we do.
I was trying to get a feeling for his face, whether he was smiling or whether he had expression on the face.
Yeah, it was more like deep thought, concern. That's probably the best way to put it. Like I said, there was nothing menacing about him. I didn't find him to be like a mean look or a sad look or anything like that. That's why I felt like he was trying to say something, but like no movement of the mouth. Everything was, very silent.
Right. You said he was was it a lap? Did you say? What's that?
Yeah. Oh, where they tie the material around and it covers the front.
Oh, yeah, like a loincloth kind of thing. Yeah.
Nowadays they use the cloth and they use it differently. But, yeah, this was more like tied around, like stringy around the waist, but then like covered at the front. And I would say like almost plaited type string.
Yep,
yeah.
I get it. No, I know. I can picture exactly what you mean. Yeah. Was he carrying anything in his hands? Oh no, you said he wasn't. He was just waving them around. Yeah.
But to come to think of it, now that you said that, because I haven't had to explain this to anyone in this sort of detail before, he did have a bag over his shoulder going across his chest, and it was sitting at the back of him. So there was string, like bag across, you know what I mean, a string handle.
Yeah, yep.
Across his chest. And when he turned, you could see that there was like this bag on his back. That too was all plaited and there was something in it, but you couldn't see what it was. And it was probably about the size of probably 2 mobile phones width and a bit taller than a mobile phone.
Okay. And you can tell there was something in it, but you couldn't see it. Yeah.
Because it wasn't flat, it was rounded. There was like something in it.
Right, that's really interesting. I just actually had a sudden thought. Did you see the colour of his irises? Were they dark or...?
Oh, no, his eyes were black.
Black eyes, yeah.
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 He was very black. He could not have had any other colour eyes than black eyes, because we're talking he was undoubtedly full blood, plus he had the tribal scarring on his chest, which was all raised and obvious, and you just don't sort of see that unless, it's around full-blooded communities or old days.
Yeah, I thought of it because I have spoken to someone who has a Junjati spirit guide, and the Junjati has blue eyes because he's in the spirit realm.
Yeah,
it had something to do with the spirit realm. So I guess that's why I thought about it. I thought, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And so then he turns around. How long was he looking at you for? Or how long did you look at him for?
So what had happened was I'm writing at the table and I've looked up and there he is, straight in front of me. He's in the bathroom, approximately 4 meters away from me. And that's when he put his hands flat, waved them across his chest, not his chest, he's sort of crouched, his knees are bent, and he's waved them from right to left to right. And then he stood up, I'm just staring at him. He turned and walked off like I should follow.
Right.
And he like he just walked off, and I knew darn well that it's a brick wall.
And it would have been tricky for you to follow too through a brick wall.
Exactly. And the thing was too, I'm like, because he was so real, it took me a bit of a moment to even get up to look in there, because I'm like, there's a man in my bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And so he turns around and disappears.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned it to some other. Well, you got out of there. I think. Did you say you left, or you?
Yeah, I went out of the manager's quarters and went and spoke to a couple of the residents. So.
And they mentioned they'd seen. Or was that a bit later that somebody had mentioned that they'd...
No, later on I then spoke to an elder who's now passed away. They had then told me that they couldn't believe that I'd told them that, because they had just spoken to another family member who was an elder, who said that they were driving around the back of the rehab and they saw him cross the road and go down the gully to the river.
And they didn't have any idea of who he might be?
No. Well, not that I was told anyhow.
How interesting. And you'd never seen that face before?
No.
Right.
No. And never again. And you know what? If I did again, I probably would follow. Because, like, yeah, you got the fright, but it didn't seem menacing, you know? Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'm just saying that now. I'm big and brave while it's not happening.
aren't we all?
But it's one of those things you think, oh, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
But, like, in all seriousness, as if I should follow some guy down into the bush. It's just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, wow. What an interesting thing. And so you said after that, the people from the community were like, Wendy, she sees things.
Oh, a couple of people, yeah. I don't want to say the whole community because not the whole community knows me.
Yep.
But, people were talking about it because they came and told. Another person a sister I call her, she's passed away as well. She was saying to me, they're all talking about you seeing things. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I do, I do, but I haven't for a long time. It's not like, how some people are psychic or whatever or something or other. I do not think I'm anything like that at all. I just sometimes happen to be somewhere when something happens, I haven't had that for quite a while.
You're listening to Yowie Central on the best little station in the nation, 94.9 Main FM. So have you seen anything else? What other occurrences have happened?
Oh, well, Sherbrooke, like I said, is an interesting place. I was another time driving to Sherbrooke to do the patrolling, they call it. I hate that word because that's just stupid. We weren't patrolling anything. We were just making sure everybody's okay. So I was on my way out by myself and I'm driving along and then this is not at Sherbrooke yet, but it was on the way to Sherbrooke. As I was driving along, all of a sudden, in the middle of the road, I saw this massive dog that was this big black dog, which was the size of a teenage calf, massive.
Wow.
And it appeared in front of me so quickly that I didn't even have the chance to brake. It was just all of a sudden like, how the heck is that there? So I literally squinted and prepared myself to hit it, and I drove through it.
Oh.
And I felt it go through me.
What?
There was just this energy, and I drove through it. And because I have Christian beliefs. I was praying a lot after that, crying until I reached Cherbourg to talk to someone, which then they were good enough to pray with me, and then I got to work not long after that. But that was unbelievable because, again, that looked real. And then next minute I'm driving through it.
Right.
But the weirdest thing was you felt it go through you.
What did you feel?
It was like energy is probably the best way to put it. It didn't feel good. It was like your stomach dropped, but you could literally feel like energy. If you could put energy as a wind, it was like that. You drove through wind, but this wind is going through your body, not around your body.
So you're in your car and you've come up to, well, it appears, and you suddenly start driving through. Could you see it while you were driving through it? Or did it sort of disappear when your car hit it?
That's when it sort of like disappeared, you know. Because again, it was like really solid, and this thing was big. So like I'm thinking I'm hitting, like, I know it's a dog, but it's bigger than a dog. It's more like what do they call teenage calves? I don't even know. But bigger than a little calf, much bigger.
Right.
But not a fully grown cow.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that height. So I'm thinking, this is going to be bad, you know. So I really prepared for a bad accident in that sense. I was only doing 60, but it still was, a big thing to hit. And then as I got up to it, it's almost like it disappeared, like cloud-like, you know. It sort of just disappeared as I drove through it.
Did you get a look at the face of this dog? Did it look at you?
It didn't look at me like it more slightly turned. It wasn't like face on looking at me or anything like that, but I could tell it was a dog. Not like a wolf, but that sort of shape head where it's a bit like scruffier and just a big black dog with quite, you know, I'm very good with dog breeds and I can't put it to any breed. The closest breed I would say would be between like German Shepherd or a wolf, and it was sort of like a cross between those two, and that'd probably be the best shape and look of the head and the length of hair and stuff.
Did you catch the eyes or the teeth? Or
no, but like I said, I was preparing to hit. It appeared so quickly, and I was preparing to hit it that I remember clearly squinting my eyes.
So it appeared in the middle of the road or ran into the middle of the road?
Okay, so I would say, I'm trying to work this out. I'm not very good with distances or heights.
That's all right.
So I would say it was probably about 10 metres in front of me when I first saw it, and it would have been on the right-hand side, and then it was in front of me in the lane, and by then I'm onto it.
And then you're onto it and through it.
Yeah.
Wow. And did you see it in the rear vision mirror?
No. I took off. Honestly, that thing made me take off more than anything that I've dealt with, even more than Goatman.
Right. I wonder why. What was it? Was it the feeling of the energy going through you?
Maybe, because I was completely shaken by that. Like the Goatman, that scared the crap out of me, and I went and told people about it. But this thing literally traumatized me to a point that I didn't even stop to sign in at work. I went straight out to Cherbourg, and I didn't even go and get the car I was supposed to go in. I just kept going in my car out to Cherbourg to tell my friend who was working with me that night what went on. And like a bit of a group of people, like family members and that, turned up, and I'm sitting there, I was shaking. And this is like 20 minutes from Cherbourg. So I've driven that far shaking and crying and settling down before we even went and got the car to start work. So I really don't know. I mean, why that one affected me the most, but that one out of everything affected me worse than anything.
Have you seen anything like that since?
No.
When was that, by the way?
That would have been around the same time, 11 years ago, because this was all when I was working, doing the same job. So the rehab one with the painted man, that happened even that was longer. That would have been probably 14 or 15 years ago. The other two would have been about 11 years ago.
How interesting.
Like,
do you remember what were you thinking? Do you remember at the time? I wonder whether it was some kind of...
I just thought, this is bad spirit, so I'm out. Yeah. Because there is, again, another story about a black dog that follows people. It starts off as a puppy, and then you walk a bit further and you look back and it's grown up a bit, and then it becomes a big dog and then it attacks you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd
But
be
my
dead because I'm
daughter-
a sucker for a puppy.
Yeah, I know, right? But my daughter, Sheridan, she saw she described it, same black dog out the front of our house one time. And it chased her to where my parents were staying in Winnebago thing out the front of our house. And she bolted into there and she was shaken. But she's another one that sees things. So,
Right.
But yeah, for a long time she would not go out the front of our house.
Did she notice the colour of the eyes?
I'd have to ask her. We never raised it too much with her because of how upset she was by
Yeah,
it. Like, she's an adult now, so
That's
I
fair
can
enough.
ask.
I just remember someone talking to me recently, and this is Northern Territory, not Queensland, and they call them devil dingoes or devil dogs, massive black dogs with red eyes that are around Aboriginal
communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wondered whether there was some connection
I
there.
was always told red eyes too, but I honestly can't say that I saw red eyes.
No, that's all right. How
Yeah.
interesting, though. That's fascinating.
And then only a year ago, I was driving out there for medical stuff, and I had my youngest daughter with me, my daughter-in-law, and my grandson. And as we were coming down the hill into the community, this black cloud appeared in front of us, like smoke, but we drove straight through it, and there's no fire and no smoke is black like this. And I asked everybody, did you all see that? And we all saw it, the whole four of us. And that was coming down into Cherbourg. You know, there's just things like that. I was like, why haven't you got a dash cam?
Wendy, get your husband on the job.
I know, right?
Chop, chop.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And did when you drove through it, how did it make you feel?
It wasn't like the black dog.
Right.
There was not a feeling to it. It went around the car. It didn't come through the car. Then, like I said, me being Christian, I just prayed over us because, you know, it wasn't right. It wasn't like there was definitely something spiritual about it. It wasn't like someone had burnt something. And we're talking about paddocks because we live in the country. So, like, it's not suburbia. We've got cows and kangaroos and horses and things. There's nowhere there was a fire or anything like that. And fire isn't black like that. It was like black smoke that you see on a movie when there's something creepy.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I often wonder where these movie people get things from, because I tell you what, they hit the nail on the head with some of them.
Well, they're probably reading real life accounts, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder, hey,
yeah.
because like it's incredible. because if you drew it, everyone would go, oh, no, you just watched this. And it's, no, I didn't, because I don't watch horror movies. So
Yeah, no, I don't either. Way too scary for me. I hear enough scary stuff doing the work I do. I don't really need to watch the movie versions as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Oh, Wendy, thank you so much for talking to me. It's such a lovely,
No, that's all right.
lovely to catch up with you again.
I love talking to you. Yeah. Anytime.
Right back at you.
How cool is that stuff that Dan got on that thermal stuff?
Oh, yeah, Dean. Yeah.
Oh, Dean. Oh, see, I'm terrible with that.
Yeah, Dean Harrison. And Gary.
Sheridan's partner's name Dean, and I thought, no, you've got that wrong, Wendy. It's Dan.
Yeah, no, it's Dean.
Dean. Oh, my gosh. Just blew me away.
It was so incredible. Yeah.
And the shape was exactly what I saw.
Yep. And
it gave me shivers.
It gave me shivers too, because I know these guys. I know them really well. We work together very closely. We talk to each other every day. We're like a family. And there is no way on earth that they would have hoaxed anything.
Of course.
In which case, what they caught on that thermal camera is real. And
I know.
They're 10 foot tall.
Yeah, absolutely. And like as if they'd go and make that crap up when they're trying to be legitimate with everything.
Oh, exactly. Dean spends so much of his time and money. He refuses to take. So I've been trying to talk him into at least opening a Patreon account or getting some subscribers. He should, but he's so dedicated to this research and to he thinks it would. Legitimate. Yeah, and he thinks it would ruin his credibility and the credibility of his research if he was paid any money for it. So he refuses. So at his own cost, mind you, and he's been doing it for 25 years like that. So
how does he still look so young?
He goes to the gym a lot. I think he does a little bit of beauty therapy here and there.
What the heck? Because you look at the old videos and he's not much different.
I think
he's
one of those lucky people who just look really young.
Yeah, that's not fair.
No. No.
But I love the opening that he did for the one that I had.
Yes.
I was just oh, wow, that was very fancy.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good little lead up, yeah.
And that was Wendy with some of her high strangeness encounters. What did you think of that? Wendy has more mysterious encounters to share. Hopefully she'll come back on the show and share some of her other stories. Don't forget, if you've had any strange, mysterious experiences and you'd like to come on the show and share your story with the Yowie Central listeners, let me know via yowiecentral@gmail.com or via the Yowie Central Facebook group. I love hearing your stories, and I promise I won't think you're crazy. And that's it for this week, folks. Yowie Central will be back next week. Same time, same place, on 94.9 Main FM. I'll catch you next week. Stay safe.
Out in the cold, out in the dark, something's lurking at the edge of the park. People be warned, people beware, there's a storm on the rise and it's covered in hair. Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to disembowel. Claws like a hook, eyes like coal, feet so big they're gonna crush your soul. They call him Sasquatch. Can't see under the darkness behind the tree. Is he a monster? Is he a man? Is he a demon under Satan's command? Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to disembowel. Claws like a hook, eyes like coal, feet so big they're gonna crush your soul. They call him Sasquatch. Yeah! be rich, you pretty young thing. Better hide the glint of your diamond ring. Your fancy jacket won't be worth a dime when you're sucking the blood right out of your spine. Hear him cry,